Bikedope. A couple weeks ago, I was hanging out with the Rsonist, and for those of you who don't know who the Rsonist is, he's from the HeatMakerz. And the HeatMakerz has made so many hits for so many different people, man. And it was an honor and a privilege to sit down next to this dude to get some of that game that he's got all through the years. And his story was amazing, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys like it, man, as much as I did listening to it. You know what I mean? So, as always, I appreciate all the support, and thanks again. Subscribe, comment, like, share, do whatever you gotta do. But make sure you take heed of this dude, the Rsonist. I appreciate you, my man. Easy. Bikedope Conversations, man. We got the illest people always with the realest content. I make my way to meet some of the coolest fucking people in this goddamn planet, man. Jon Agnew again, Grand Bikedope. I got my man with me. I don't know if you guys know who this dude is, but I've been fucking with this dude for a minute, man. He don't know it, but where we at right now, big time?
We're in my studio in 47th Street in the Diamond District.
And
the name of the studio is Diamond District, so we in the Diamond District that's in the Diamond District.
This is the fucking Rsonist. The fucking Rsonist from the HeatMakerz. Dude, like, this is so crazy to me because I'm looking at these fucking plaques on the wall. I just noticed these plaques, right? How does one get to this point?
I know it's gonna sound cliche, nigga. It's really just dedication. It's dedication because each one of those plaques come with like sleepless nights and, you know what I mean? In between those plaques is what I mean, like being unsure, being angry, feeling cheated.
Yeah.
All of that shit comes in between those plaques. So each one of them to me represents something different. Like people see plaques and they see like, oh, he sold a bunch of records. I see him as like never giving up. You know what I mean? Like being at a position where I could have given up and fought through it and got to those.
That's awesome, bro. How did you when you started fucking around with this music shit? What the fuck were you doing before you doing music?
I was a DJ. But before music I was an architect.
Straight up.
I went to school to be an architect, so I was in the process of getting my degree to be an architect, and then some things happened. I got kicked. I went to Howard University. I got kicked out of Howard University. Some things that happened, and when I came home, I had a baby on the way, and I didn't really have no way to make bread because, you know, like I said, I was DJing around my end of my few years in college. I was DJing, but when I came home, it was like getting work in DC and getting work in New York as a DJ is two different things. In New York, it's like you was up against the A-listers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to
So who would you come up with against? A-listers like Kid Capri now?
Yeah, like Kid Capri, around this time, you know, like SNS, fucking Ron G, Funk Flex was still in the mix, you know what I'm saying? Like Flex been around for a minute, Flex was still in the mix. Clue was around. It was.
And did you have a name at that point?
He was awesome.
I'm saying, the streets know you though.
No, in DC, and just in DC. As a DJ, just in DC.
Are you from DC?
No. I'm from New York. I went to college in DC.
I meant to say, are you from, like, your roots are here in NYC?
My roots are really from Jamaica.
Straight up?
Yeah, I was born in Jamaica. I moved to the Bronx. When I was like 5 years old. You know what I'm saying? But so the Bronx, and I've lived a couple different places from the Bronx to Connecticut to Vegas for a minute to you know, different places, but my roots are in the Bronx. I spent the most years in the Bronx.
Okay. When you so you up against Ron G. So I was awesome make a name for himself.
That was the thing. See, as far as a DJ, again, I come home from college because I get kicked out of college. Right. I don't really have an income. I don't have no money coming in. Right. So I can't focus on trying to beat out Ron G and Kid Capri. Like those are like pipe dreams at the time.
No doubt.
So for me, it was like my homeboy had just bought an MPC, you know what I'm saying, and he was going to Trinidad with his family, and he asked me if I could hold it. He let me hold it, and I just started fucking with it, man. It was like I just kind of got drew to creating new things, you know what I'm saying, and that shit turned into what we have now. But so much things happened in between, you know what I'm saying.
How much you charge for your beats when you first started out?
I didn't charge shit. I gave it to people because at the end of the day, it's like the reason our name started bubbling before we got into like the whole Dipset Def Jam system, because we used to do records for people around the way, you know what I'm saying? And they would go try to actively shop for a deal. So when they go to labels,
Now, when you say they talking about the HeatMakerz?
no, I'm talking about just random artists from around our way that we would give beats to.
Okay.
They would try to go shop shop their songs to different labels, and the labels would always say, who did these beats?
Yeah.
So we started to build a name even before we did the Dipset stuff, but after we did the Dipset stuff, it was kind of like, it was just off to the races, you know what I'm saying? So that was a beautiful time.
So how the fuck did you start, where did the sound come from? How the fuck did you...
The sound.
Dog, you know I heard this shit first? Was in 2003. Because I was in the military, I was in the Marine.
Right.
And my homeboy, JB, played this shit.
Which song, bro? I'm Ready, probably?
Yeah, it was I'm Ready. It was I'm Ready.
That's the song that most people got introduced to us by, was I'm Ready.
But it was, and he said, it's the Dipset. I'm like, who the fuck? The Diplomats. I'm like,
Yeah.
Diplomats?
Yeah, they was brand new at that time.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
And I think this was 02, 03. Now, so what's these dudes saying?
The sound came from not knowing how to play instruments.
I was gonna ask.
So, being around the crib, my mother got a bunch of records, aunts, uncles, friends, family, whoever. So it was just finding new ways to manipulate an old sound, you know what I'm saying? And how to make it sound like that time when we were kids, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I came up with.
Was it you? Because it was two guys,
Yeah, it was my man Thriller. That's who, when I told you I borrowed the MPC from, it was him. So it was my man Thriller and me, and it was my other homeboy, but he didn't make beats at the time, you know what I'm saying? And as years went by, people just kind of took their own paths and went and did different things. When the music slowed down, some people don't want to sit through the fucked up times, you know what I'm saying? They would rather just be around when it's beneficial, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean that as a jab in the way, I just mean it as that some people are just wired like that, you know what I'm saying? And me personally, I don't like starting something and not finishing it. So in my head, it was like, nah, I had too much success for me to...
Based on what? What was your first successful album?
Diplomatic Community, we did 11 records and it went gold. So that's 500,000 copies, and we did 85% of the album.
Before that, you're talking about before
it was Diplomats, it was random stuff. It was like it was Cannabis, it was Razzcast. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't anything. And no disrespect to them, but it wasn't anything that people would know us for. It was just kind of our personal introduction to the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where we kind of learned about what to do, what not to do, what this means in a contract. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what that was.
And I think that's what a lot of people get fucked up nowadays, because you really do this shit.
Right.
Like, this is your, not 9 to 5, but this is your everyday.
Yeah, this is my career at this point. Like, this is a studio I built out of my own pocket. You understand? In the middle of Manhattan. You understand? Like, so... For me, it's a different outlook on this shit now. Before it was just make beats, get placements. Now it's like, all right, cool. Like, you need a place to work out of. You need a home. You need a place that you can invite artists to and do projects with artists. Because nowadays, the way you really make money is off of streaming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The days of physical sales and all that shit is.
I don't know if anybody would actually be familiar with it, but who mentored you through this whole process, man? Because
trial and error. Different people mentored me without them knowing they were mentoring me. You know what I'm saying? Like, me seeing things, and I'm the type of dude, I don't like not knowing. You understand? Like, I don't want to be the one dude in the room and there's a conversation going on and I'm the one person that doesn't know shit about it. That makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I'll learn and I'll teach myself and I'll ask questions and, regular things, but a lot of people stay in this music game and they let their manager handle that. They let their accountant handle that. They let all of that sounds cool until your money's done and you don't really know where half of it went.
You ever fucked out of some money before?
Of course.
How much?
Not knowing the game, of course.
Like, what do we, like, when you say that, cause at this point, you're at a larger scale.
Yeah, now it doesn't happen because now I'm more in control of my own career, because like I said, the music industry is more shifted to independence now.
Yeah.
It's not about, I'm assigned to a label and the label's gonna give me a big advance of $300,000 and then I gotta pay them back at this rate, and it ain't about that no more. Now it's about you put your own shit out. You might have a distributor at, i.e. an Empire or something of that nature, and then they take what they take and you're left with the lion's share.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's up to you to help it sell, to promote it more, to do whatever. So anybody that willingly signs to a label now and you have any type of buzz, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. Unless you're doing a joint venture, like they're gonna give you $4 million for a label deal for you to sign. Then that's different. But for you to just say, I'm an artist that I'm already getting 15 to 20 grand a show, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm gonna go sign to Atlantic because they want to give me 1.5 million. Like that makes absolutely no sense.
Based on what? Because you can keep doing.
Because if they give you 1.5, what do you think you owe them in return?
No doubt. Right.
So that being said, that says everything.
Yeah.
Because if you're making 20 grand a show, that means that your product or your album has to be moving a certain amount because people know the records. Mm-hmm. So you should be making money on that side and from the show side and from features, and so you're doing that out of sheer greed. You just want a bulk of money now, as opposed to saying, all right, cool, I make a little 100 or 150 grand a month. Right. Let me just let that add up. I'm gonna make 1.5 in a year instead of taking this 1.5 right now that I'm gonna have to pay back for probably for the next 3-4 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I get it. So let me ask you something, man. When you, I'm sure you've been getting approached by a lot of people.
Yeah.
So how do you know these motherfuckers is pussy and shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you don't want your sound going to just some suckers. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of time, what I notice is that when people when they know the price that I charge and they agree to pay it, it's usually people that believe in what they're doing. My thing is this: I don't have to personally like what you do for me to work with you, and I don't mean that. I mean that in the sense of things have worked that I didn't personally like.
Yeah.
So I've learned not to judge music from just a straight my side standpoint. I kind of watch what's going on around what I'm doing and how other people are reacting to it, and the reaction of like fans to that person. Mm-hmm. Because there's certain artists that I don't really personally like their music, but the way the fans react to them, there's something there. Right. You know what I mean? So, and I'm a producer, so I can't be biased.
I don't like the stuff that you've made on this last CD, the New Jimmy. Mm-hmm. That was, to me, that was for my kind of ears, right? Like
that's my kind of ears too.
Like the soulful, gritty.
That's for ears that got feeling. Any ears that got feeling, that's what that's for.
Right.
So we try to put an age. Yeah, we try to put an age on it. I created feelings for people. I don't care about sounds no more. You're like, yo, what does it sound like? I don't care about that. What does it feel like? Every record on that project has a feel to it, and I try to make it like that.
So the old ones don't? The old ones don't have the old diplomats don't get in the.
Nah, they do, but it wasn't. That was more of the young energy of a young producer making that type of shit. So it came with a feel.
Yeah.
As you get older and you're producing, you tend to fall into a rut where it's kind of like you're just making music.
Yeah.
With this project, I made sure everything had a feel to it. So when you listen to it 6 months from now, a year from now, it still gives you that feel.
Right.
And I think that's the signature of my music.
Where does that come from? Where is that? Just years of just trial and error, like you say? Or are you conditioned a certain way to do that shit? Like I told you before off camera, dog. That fucking Lionel Richie shit. I've been waiting for somebody to make that goddamn beat or put their own little twist on. Not no generic shit either.
That shit just came about out of the blue. Like me and Jim was in the studio, literally sitting there, and he was like, "Yo, I need a vibe, man. I need something that." And I don't know what made me think about that. And I pulled that up and I just started putting a little bounce on. I'm like, that shit sound kind of fire. And then Jim had laid a verse, and we just had it. And then he needed a record one day for Fab. He's like, yo, Fab, I'm trying to get Fab on one of these records. Send me some stuff. And I remember I think I sent him New York City, and I sent him that. Mm-hmm. Nothing Lasts. And Fab picked Nothing Lasts.
You know, who was New York City?
Fat Joe.
Yeah. Okay.
Fat Joe was already on it when we asked Fab to be on it, but I don't know if Fab heard Fat Joe. I don't know if he knew Fat Joe was on it yet.
So when you start talking these kind of artists like this, are we talking, what kind of money, I know you can't say, but is it a favor for a favor type thing? Because I can't call Fab like, hey, I got a song, what you do, man? But since you got some skin in the game.
Remember, if I don't have the relationship with him, Jim more than likely does. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a small industry, and people realize that, like, I mean, what can you really charge another artist that's a peer of yours that you understand? Like,
yes, that would be my question.
Like, certain things you can ask for, like, okay, if there's a video about to be shot, you might need some, whether it's transportation to the video, whether it's wardrobe for the video, whatever it is, that's that's fully understandable to ask for, you know what I'm saying? Because you're in a position now, it's like I'm doing you the favor actually showing up to this fucking video. But as far as laying a verse down, it's like, if it's an artist that's already on that's asking you to do that, it's benefiting both of y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know me doing this El Capo album is only gonna heat me up more.
No.
You understand? Like, so I looked at it from like, what am I gonna get on the back end?
But since the community is so small, if you're burning and buzzing like that, how the fuck much can you charge somebody if the community is so small? You know what I'm saying?
You talking about me?
Do you pull out the checkbook at that point?
Talking about for me?
Yes.
No, for me, again, it works the same way. If it's an artist that's in the industry that's guaranteed to sell records or sell a certain amount of records, here's what people need to understand. When somebody in the industry pays you an upfront amount for a beat,
okay,
that is a loan. That is, you have to pay that label back before you see any residual money off the album sales.
Yeah.
First you have to pay back that advance they gave you.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, that advance is just really like, here, hold this for a minute.
No.
You understand? So if an artist by any caliber, like a Ross, a Jay, and they come to me and they say, yo, look, I don't got no money for you for this beat, but I'm gonna put you on this album. My last album sold 750,000 copies.
That makes sense for you.
Of course. At the end of the day, I'm gonna make the same thing anyway if you gave me an advance or not.
Right.
The only time you really ask for an advance is if, and I'm not saying that I don't ask for an advance, of course, because you want to see that money up front. You know what I'm saying? But the only times like I won't ask for an advance is because at the end of the day, I will ask for an advance if you're not guaranteed to sell.
Right.
If you're not guaranteed to sell, then I'm taking a chance. So you gotta pay me up front to kind of prove to me that you think it's gonna sell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it works both ways. A lot of people.
So when you talk to somebody,
yeah,
when they approach you, do you have like a plethora of beats, or you just make something off the top based on how the vibe is?
It depends.
You just shoot them that.
It depends how they want to work. Like I had a dude the other day, independent dude that came in, hit me up on the gram, wanted to buy some music. He came through here, but last minute he wanted me to remake a beat that he had for another song, or do something like that. Or put a new beat to an old song he had. Then he changed his mind last minute. So when he came here, I just made the beat right in front of him, lost his mind, and he bought that. So it works different ways. Sometimes they can come through, playing some shit I have, but I move music so fast now that I don't really have like a library no more. Like, I do, but I move them, so I'm making new shit daily. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right. This is a fantastic fucking studio, man.
I appreciate it.
This is hard. I did not know. So you actually work with Wayne and all that, or like? Now, what's their, like, when these guys are, like, creative, right? Do they really, is that all the fuck they do is not make music? Or motherfuckers just slap retarded and just make music, that's it? Or they, just anybody, or are a lot of these, because I think that's, like, the thing with a lot of these rappers sometimes. They just rap. You're just a rapper. And because I think you're a pretty intelligent dude. And
I think a lot of the rappers, you'd be surprised, man, like, a lot of these rappers, if people took the time to sit down with them and hear their perspective on things, you would look at them a lot different. But a lot of them, I don't know if they don't want to express themselves like that on a certain platform. I don't know what it is, but a lot of times if I get the chance to sit down with, you can pick anybody on this wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised. I'm almost like, I mean, granted, I've known like Cam and Joel's and Jim for years, and you know what I'm saying, and all that, but like even Wayne, you see interviews with Wayne, you know he's an intelligent dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he says things that make you think. Even in his rhymes, you can hear with certain lines that he says. Mm-hmm. But like with Jim and Cam and Joel's, a lot of people that might have a certain misconception of how they are individually or as a group,
right,
you'd be surprised when you sit down with them. Like some of the most intelligent dudes, chill, you know what I mean? Creative, cool, just a bunch of ideas. It's I don't know, man. It's just I think people really need to. And I think a lot of artists need to do that. Show people the other side of them, as opposed to just,
that's my point,
I hear you on a record. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why it was important for me to come talk to you. Because I shit, like I said, I've been in the music listening for as long as I can remember. But you never really hear about the producer. You always, you hear about like DJs and shit like that, Kid Capri's all. But you, to me, stuck out because you had that sound.
Right.
And that was always what triggered me.
And that's what I try to... Like me personally, I try to create something where I don't want people to be able to forget or not ask like, yo, who is that or who did that?
Yeah.
You understand? Like to me, not saying that I've always tried to be different, but I've always tried to do it my way and not give a fuck about how anybody else feel about it.
No doubt.
And it's worked so far. You know what I'm saying? And not in a cocky, arrogant way, just in the sense of I trust my own ears.
Yeah.
I don't need you to tell me that it's hot. Like, with all due respect, if you do, that's perfect. If not, that's perfect too.
Right.
But I believe in my shit so much that it's like,
as we all should be.
Right.
We all should.
But a lot of people need reassurance.
Validation.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like I need that. I feel like if you put me in the room by myself and say, yo, look, make an album for Jay-Z, make all the beats for it, and he'll be back in a week.
You about to have some bangers.
I feel like I would know what to play him to when he comes back to be like, yo, what the fuck is on this dude's mind? You understand? Like, I feel like I know music. Like, I've studied his music. I've studied a bunch of artists' music, but I just know what I personally like about my favorite records from those people.
Yeah.
And I feel like I make that on a regular basis.
You do, man. You do. And that's what I came up with the podcast idea, man. It was because of people. I really believe in what I'm doing. I'm one of the best at what I do. I think we all should.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think we need validation from people.
But I think there has to be. I think some people have to be realistic with themselves. Yeah. You understand? Like,
that's true.
Do I believe I'm the best producer? No, I don't.
But you're the best version of yourself.
No, of course.
That's all that matters.
Of course. But what I'm saying to you is I know that I have so much more to grow as a producer that I wouldn't lie to myself and say I'm the best but once I figure those other things out, of course I'll be.
So what do you do when you give a rapper or an entertainer a specific beat and they don't say the content doesn't go with what you thought it would have gone in that direction? You know what I'm saying? Like
I've learned not to judge that anymore because everybody's interpretation of anything is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like life is a 1,000,000% about perspectives. We can look at the same thing, but if your perspective is different than mine, we'll see two different things.
So if you and we spoke earlier, you seem to be a halfway conscious dude.
I guess I think a lot.
Right. So because we're getting older and consciousness comes and we try to process shit differently.
Right.
So at what point in time will these motherfuckers talking about this guns and dope and pussy and shit will ever get old? Or you can't say that either.
It'll never get old. It's like
to you. I'm not talking about to them. I'm talking about to your ears.
Oh, to my ears?
Yeah.
Here's my thing. In life in general, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You understand? If you talk about drugs, pussy, and guns, and you talk about it the way every other nigga talked about it, yeah, it's gonna get old and sound crazy. But if you could finesse it, yeah, it's gonna sound like something I never heard before, even though that's what you're talking about. You understand? Like,
exactly.
Because it's like, look at the keyboard, right? There's only so many keys on the keyboard. There's only so many subjects in life. As big as this world is, there's only so many subjects that people care about.
Correct.
As an artist, your job is to find creative ways to speak about those subjects. That's your job.
And if you come up with this badass beat, not come with some dry ass, just mundane ass rap, have you ever got to a point where you tell somebody like, look, we gotta redo that?
Of course.
Without stepping. So how does that affect ego?
I mean, at the end of the day, does the person respect you as a creator? If they do, then there shouldn't be egos involved. It's like if I'm in the room with Dr. Dre and he says, yo, change the kick and snare on that beat, I'm gonna change it because that man he's accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, for me to say I'm not listening to him, I would just be corny because then he's proven himself. Now, if anybody off the street says, yo, change that or do this, I'm not listening to them. You don't have any credibility in my eyes.
So you're extremely coachable.
Yeah, of course, but it has to be by the right coach. You understand? And that's what I'm saying. So if I'm working with somebody, I would hope it's a mutual respect. Like when me and Jim did El Capo, there was certain things that he might have wanted me to change and I might have wanted him to change, and we did that. Because at the end of the day, we knew that we were after the same goal, which was to make a dope project.
So do you who do you look up to now? Like everybody speaks so highly about Dre.
Right.
Now, are we talking about Dre's music, or do you respect his body of work?
Everything. Because you gotta remember, he was a trendsetter when it's all said and done. Like, even when you talk about Dre beats, you want to talk about Death Row Records, what he added to Death Row Records, him building Eminem, which in turn built 50 Cent. Like, his mark on the music game is unmatched by any other hip hop artist. You know what I mean? Like, him and Jay-Z to me run neck and neck when it comes to that. But Dre is on the sense that he stayed quiet, he stayed behind the scenes, and he controlled a lot of careers that popped off.
So are you gonna be there ever? Cause I've seen you. I've heard all your music. I see the guys and stuff. I never seen you in videos do shit like that.
Well, I was in the New York City video and recently the Good Die Young video for the El Capo joint book.
I haven't seen it.
But you gotta understand how Jim works. When it comes to this project, how Jim works. Jim will call you at, like, perfect example, Good Die Young video. Jim calls me at 2 in the morning. Like, yo, where you at? See, I'm in the crib. I just got home. Yo, meet me in Harlem. I'm da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, he said, yo, we shooting a Good Die Young. I'm like, my nigga, I just got home. Like, why would you tell me ahead of time? Like, I want to get right for the video. Yo, come on, nigga, I got your man Mark out. He's talking about Mark, this Gabillion that played keys. He's like, I got your man Mark out here, chest naked in the projects, nigga, come through. I'm like, so I get, you know what I mean? But that's just an example of how Jim works. Jim is, he's sporadic.
So why can't you say no, though? You can't.
No, you can say no. That's what I'm saying. I was only in 2 videos because this happened on multiple occasions.
So you called that bullshit.
Like one day, Jim called me. I think it was on Sunday morning. He's like, yo, I need you to be in Miami by the night. We shooting the State of the Union video. We're gonna get you in a couple scenes. I'm like, nigga, I have children, nigga. You know what I mean? I need a little heads up.
It's cool, man. Good time, everybody else.
No, but Jim is a good dude, man.
Yeah.
I just, like, you just have to know that about him, that he does shit like that. But I'm used to that by now.
Damn. So do you still keep in contact with these dudes? Or you fuck a little flip?
Yeah, I did a joint on the Game Over album, a joint called Ghetto.
Damn.
Yeah.
So did you get the props from that song? How does that work? You get the whole...
What it is you get a piece of the album. So let's just say your percentage of the album would be 3% for doing that one beat, right? So now if there's samples, you gotta bust down that 3% with whatever the sample owner wants. You understand? So I'm not saying it's 3, but let's just say it's 3% per track for the producer. So let's just say it's 6% per song, and the label ends up with a certain amount, or whatever the numbers are. That's how it'll work. So that's why it doesn't matter if you have. Nowadays, it don't matter if you have well, it does matter now if you have the single or you just part of the album. Back in the days, it didn't matter. Now it matters because of streaming.
Yeah.
So if somebody, well, actually it doesn't matter because if a song is part of an album and it streams, the whole album benefits.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? So it really doesn't matter, to be honest with you. Only with, like, and even with videos, if there's an album out, it's all going to the recoupment of the album. Boy, you understand? So
when it comes down to clearing a sample,
right?
How long does that process take?
To be right away. If you agree right away, that shit could be.
I mean, but you call like fucking whoever, Kenny G or some shit?
No, like let's just say it's like with if it's anybody, if it's fucking Chainsmokers for New York City,
right?
They have the same publishing company as I do.
Okay.
So we're both signed to Sony. So that's a little easier. You know what I'm saying? This is reaching out to this person, them getting back to you, them telling you what they want, and you coming to terms and
like
paperwork is sent, and that's it. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
So how much more, like, this is what you gonna do forever? Can you see yourself stop doing this shit?
When the time comes, when I say stop actively trying to be a commercial producer. Like, I want to move on to other things, you know what I mean? Once I feel like I've accomplished what I want to accomplish in this, but I feel like I'm not close to accomplishing what I want to accomplish. You know what I mean?
Who's on your bucket list?
Definitely Jay-Z. Eminem if possible, Rihanna if possible, 50 Cent if possible.
Why? Yeah.
No, I just think that she's West Indian, I'm West Indian. I just think musically we would understand each other. You know what I mean? If you listen to a lot of my drum programming, it's like you listen to my era from Mano and Jim.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that bounce is really like a reggae bounce. I mean, most people don't listen to it like that, but I make most of my drum programming is like that, you know, because I'm Jamaican.
Yeah. That's hey, this is big for me, man. Cause I'm actually happy you reached out. You know what I'm saying? I reached out to you when you actually reached back and act like no fucking homo.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, dog.
At the end of the day, if I don't get back to somebody, either they said some bullshit or I just honestly didn't see it. But I try to, anybody that makes sense and hits me, I respond. You know what I'm saying? And then where it goes from there is up to them. Because you can say some dumb shit and fuck it up, or we can really do business and keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. How was fuck? Did you send this the Panda?
No, he recorded that in my last studio, so that's a plaque for the studio.
Damn.
It's not a production plaque, but he recorded it. And then, a matter of fact, there's another plaque I'm getting that Fat Joe's supposed to send to me for All the Way Up because he recorded that in my last studio.
Why only hip hop? So you fuck with his hip hop?
Nah, but I mean, it just happened to be that these are the records that were successful. You know what I mean? Like, I actually did a couple. I've done a couple R&B and reggae records along the way and shit like that. But
sweet, man. Well, I appreciate it, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time, man.
Oh, my brother.
I appreciate it. Rsonist. And there you have it. The official HeatMakerz, man. Go follow this dude. At the official HeatMakerz with a Z. That's one dude. It's the Rsonist, man. I appreciate you, my man. And like always, you can follow me at Bikedope Official, Facebook Jon Agnew. And you can join the Facebook group, man. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. To YouTube, all the social media sites, man. You can check this dude out. Like I said, his story, man, is amazing. I appreciate it so much. And thank you for all the support, guys and gals. Bikedope, baby. We taking over. Let's do it. Easy.